Greetings, Mark Rang here, publisher of the Conway Daily Sun. And today my guest is Tom Quigley, who's with Claimlinx Insurance. Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Good. So we're going to talk about what's happening on the national level with Obamacare, and then we'll talk about what's going on with the schools, our local schools. And Tom, and I should say full disclosure, you represent us. You've taken care of our health insurance for the Conway Daily Sun for years. And I will say, and this isn't a plug for you, but I'll just say how it works, is that you've constructed a plan for us where, you know, we use Ambetter, we use Blue Cross, we use also, some people are on the ACA, the Obamacare.
Yep.
And employers can do that, if I have this right, as long as they offer the same benefit.
Same benefits, no discrimination, same costs, or same agreement for everyone.
But you can have different plans.
Absolutely.
Employers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's start with the, and you're a local guy, or sort of a local guy. You have an office over in Reporter Court.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. And your sister's Amy at
yes.
King Pine.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so you do have, you're connected. And so about the Obamacare, the government's, you know, like literally today's Tuesday, they're talking about shutting the government down tonight, I think Wednesday like 12:01.
Exactly.
And the hitch at this point, without getting into the politics, because that's not what we're here for, is the expiration of the subsidies that would end January or December 31st.
Well, the expansion of the subsidies that came on during the COVID and part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and there's several other factors, but what's going to happen is at the end of December, those sunset, those end. So the question is, are they going to make them permanent? And if they don't, they have a lot of problems on their hands.
Okay, but before we do that, let's reconstruct it. So the original Obamacare was targeted for low-income people, basically.
Low, middle class.
Okay.
And what happened is, for example, husband, wife, at the time making roughly $70,000 or below were eligible. But as soon as they hit $70,000, $1 or 1 cent, they lose all their subsidy.
Okay.
So what they did is they expanded it.
And this is during COVID?
During COVID,
was it
2021.
Was it because of COVID they did this, or just because that was because actually, didn't it expand under the first administration with Trump? I thought subsidies.
It was 2021 when they expanded them.
Okay.
So what they did is they expanded it so that people who were making, it was more age-based, more increase in income, so it made it to middle class, upper middle class qualified for subsidies.
And was there just one incremental step? Isn't it now, I guess what I'm trying to get at, isn't it that anybody qualifies?
No, well, anybody can get insurance through the exchange, but it's your income, your household income, that makes or breaks whether you receive tax breaks, subsidies.
Okay, so if you had a big income, $200,000 income, you wouldn't get any subsidy.
If you had 3 or 4 kids and a charming spouse, you would.
Okay, so if you were, okay, whatever.
Depends on the state you're in, depends on the county you're in. There's all kinds of factors and variables.
So why would someone in general, if let's say you don't get a subsidy, right? Your income, your family household income's high enough. Why would you even go through Obamacare, go through the exchange, the marketplace, you know, rather than just going to somebody down the street who sells insurance, which we have a lot of very capable agencies here?
Well, you could buy it direct from Anthem, I believe, and Harvard Pilgrim.
Through Obamacare?
Through both Obamacare and direct with the insurance carriers. The rates are the rates. They're the same. All the exchange does, it allows employees, or actually individuals, to purchase health insurance through a marketplace where they have the ability to receive tax breaks if their income falls within the guidelines. The health insurance plans are the same on or off the exchange. The ACA has made everything uniformed, so there is no secret. People just get confused because they make the marketplace sound like it's evil. The group health agents, it's a trick. And what I'm doing is showing people, hey, as a business, allow your employees, if you have fewer than 50 employees, to receive tax breaks. you can agree to pay for their deductibles tax-free because of a 1954 tax law, Section 105.
Okay, so just to go even a little bit further back, what the, before Obamacare, people, they had pre-existing conditions and all that. So,
There was really, that was a misnomer too. The HIPAA laws, if you were coming off certain criteria, group health, and you had 18 months of continuous coverage, pre-existing was no longer in play.
okay.
What the ACA did is made it so that there is no little quirks. So everyone, regardless if they were on individual or any kind of military, all the plans were uniformed.
So if you, okay, so just in general.
With no pre-existing.
With no pre-existing. So in general, you say they're all the same. So basically the two factors basically the only factor is the deductible, right? I mean, because all the plans cover the same stuff.
And they have different platforms. You got platinum plans, gold plans, silver plans, bronze plans. And what most people think is if they're on a big medication, take the drug Humira, you're on a drug like Humira, they think that they need to be on the gold or platinum plan to cover with the drug card.
And the difference between those three plans are just the deductible?
The out-of-pocket, the deductibles, and a lot of times the out-of-pocket's the same. It's the benefits. If you go to the doctor, what do you pay? If you go to the pharmacy, what do you pay?
Copays.
Copays. But what people don't realize is they're better off 100% of the time to take the lowest cost option, set up either a health savings account, and an employer set up a medical expense reimbursement plan, and cover that deductible themselves because the savings is greater than the actual risk.
Okay, so let's say, and I know we're a little off topic here because
Yeah.
we want to get to what's going on with the end of the subsidies. But if let's say you have the bronze plan, which is the lowest one, and that has a deductible of what, 6,000, 7,000?
Could have a deductible, I believe, up to 9,400.
Okay, so the 9,400, that includes your drugs too.
Correct. Everything goes towards the deductible.
Okay, so you're saying that even if you have a $9,400 deductible, it's cheaper because you're paying, the premiums are lower than if you paid for the gold plan.
And the out-of-pocket, if you took the savings and looked at the difference of the out-of-pocket before the insurance pays everything, you'd go, wait a minute, why are we giving the insurance company $2,000 extra?
Right, but that's $9,400. I mean, you could be, if you just have some drugs, you could easily be.
What people don't realize is take the drug Humira, Embro, all the ones that you see people dancing on the commercials that ruin football games and stuff, and you just sit there and you're like, wow. Every one of them has a copay card at the end. If people realize this, you give them your major medical card, and guess what? The manufacturer pays for your whole deductible. So you pay nothing out of pocket. I'll use myself as an example. I went to Scotland, it was great. Got back, COVID. So I got that Paxlovid, and it was $1,500. So I sat at the pharmacy, got on my smartphone, and got a Paxlovid card. The whole $1,500 was covered by the rebate, and my deductible was hit $1,500.
How that, whoops. Are we? Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go.
So we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, okay, we had a little technical, we got a little excited here. We're throwing our microphones around.
Mark.
Yeah, hold on.
Technology today.
There we go.
All right.
Is he back?
We're back.
That was a little commercial break. Hope everybody had a took a minute to
Have a little
excite-
donkey or Matt.
All right, so I mean, how does that? You were saying that, I mean, literally, you get your drug for the COVID
At no cost.
at no cost. Like, how does that even make any
And the
sense?
$1,500 went towards my deductible.
So how does that even make sense? How
Well,
come?
because the manufacturers try to entice people to use their drugs. So most people are buying the gold, platinum. Businesses are buying drug coverage from $1, so they don't have to pay much out and they look like heroes.
All right, so that's another so you reckon, the short end of that is that you recommend the bronze plan.
Absolutely.
And either self-insure or go through your HSA, which is
HSA.
pre-tax dollars. Right?
Exactly.
That's all it comes. Okay, so fast forward to now. So the subsidies were increased, and we talked about that. What happens on January 1?
They're going to revert back to how they were prior to 2021.
Okay, and that means?
That means that people who are making $100,000, husband, wife, 62 years old, they're going to go from paying $100, $200 a month back to $2,000.
2,000?
Yes, because they would not be eligible for subsidies under the old system.
But nobody's paying. I mean, okay, that gets to another question: is that what's a general plan cost these days? Like if any
I
Blue
was just
Cross,
talking to a company earlier. Their family cost with Anthem Blue Cross over in Portland, Maine, was $3,000
a month.
a month, and I showed them how to go from $20,000 a month as a company down to $3,000.
Okay, so that's another discussion. But that just seems incredible. When did things go up beyond the? I mean, I think we've sort of lost track here because a lot of people are using the marketplace and the subsidies. But meanwhile, the plans have got more expensive.
Oh, and the benefits have gotten worse. The deductibles are now $3,500 or $5,000 routinely. And what's the whole purpose of having benefits as a company? To provide and attract employees. Well, what are they doing? Well, they're hurting the employees. If you hit a $5,000 deductible, every hour you work for the company, that's roughly $2.41. To do the math, you take the 52 times 40, 2,080, divide it by 5,000, and that's how you come up with it.
Now, the Wall Street Journal had a piece this morning, and they were saying that it's good to end the subsidies because employer plans are available to most people.
No,
and I didn't quite get the logic with that.
Well, the Wall Street Journal reporter needs to be educated. Think this through. You work for a company of 30 people and you're spending $50,000 a month on health insurance, group health. How much of that does Uncle Sam get? Zero, because the whole $50,000 is a write-off.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you go from 50,000 to 10 because you take advantage, let your employees get subsidies and everything, and agree to pick up their out of pocket if they hit it. You just say $40,000. That $40,000 is now taxable. The employees' contributions are lower, so they have more disposable income. That's taxable. Well, if you're going to do the figures, get the formula right. The formula's wrong. So the Wall Street Journal reporter gladly call me. I can educate him or her.
Okay. So like we have a couple people on Obamacare here, and I'll just use as an example, not to name anybody, but let's say someone makes $50,000, they got a single person, got a child. I think that person pays maybe $100
a month.
A month. So
Correct.
where do you think? And now when you say they, and I won't want to get in the weeds here, but the Sun has kind of leveled it all out to, so it's fair to everybody.
You're not discriminatory the way you're set up.
Right,
so you're
thank
fine.
you, because you're the
You're
one
okay,
who did
Mark.
it.
You're not going to jail.
And I hope you have a good lawyer if it's not.
We all have good lawyers.
Yes, we do. Okay, so let's say that theoretical person pays $100 now, or we pay $100. What's that going to go to?
Well, it depends if they're still below 400% of the federal
Well, let's say
poverty
the
level.
person makes $50,000. So a single person makes $50,000.
More than likely, they would still get some. If they have a child, it's higher, so they will probably pay. Maybe it goes to $200 a month.
Okay, but they're going to be. I mean, we're going to see some substantial increases.
Potentially, it depends on the income,
Right.
the adjusted gross income.
So someone who's paying like $500 now, a single person or married person, how high can it go? I guess that's the other question.
Well, it's 400% of what the federal poverty level is. So if the federal poverty level is 20,000, a husband and wife can get up to 80,000. Well, 20 times 4, right?
All right. So a single plan? Just to ground this, a typical single plan, if you went to Blue Cross, is how much? A premium.
$600-700.
And a couple would be twice that.
Yep. It depends on age.
$600 or $700.
Yeah, they can increase cost by age on the individual market. So the small group market, here's the other misnomer. Small group and individual coverage. During COVID, the individual coverage has to go to the Department of Insurances across the country and get permission to raise rates. Well, during COVID, the Departments of Insurance didn't let the insurance companies estimate claims, so the rates went down on individual. On small group, because if they go above 9.9%, the federal government has to give approval. So on small group, they allowed the insurance companies in a lot of these states to estimate what the claims would be on COVID. So the same networks, same everything, and the rates on individual are cheaper than group.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to switch. This will be the fun part. Now everybody likes to talk about local tax dollars and local school budget. Yeah. Our school budget is like $40 million, and I think 8 of it goes to health insurance, like 20% of the entire budget, which is a lot. So the latest thing, and I know we've talked about this, is that the schools, a lot of schools, municipalities use this thing called the New Hampshire Interlocal Trust. And it's a trust. So explain that, and let me just set it up this way, is that their premiums went up, we're going to go up like 39%. Our school district was told, and so now we're looking for other alternative plans. In the meantime, which happened last week, they hit us, or they're trying to hit us with like a $537,000 back charges for that they say they have to claim because they didn't have enough money coming in to cover their usage. So, and that's when I was asking about what a single plan costs at Blue Cross. If it's $500 or $600 or $700, it's like twice that with the school, through the school system. It's just more through this New Hampshire Interlocal Trust. So what's the New Hampshire Local? I know you have no use for it. So what is the New Hampshire Interlocal Trust, and why? How do municipalities even get involved with that without even just going to a local insurance agent?
So what they did is they created.
Who's they?
The school districts, through some creative minds, came up with an idea to group all the schools together and self-fund the health insurance. So what they did is they went out and they rented Harvard Pilgrim, Anthem, Cigna's networks. There's 3 of them, I believe. So they rented their networks. They formed a third-party administration company to manage claims. They went out and got what's called a preferred brand manager for drugs. PBM. And what they did is they put it all together and created a nice little package for school districts.
And this was years ago.
Years ago.
But
they forgot 2 things. It makes no sense to traditionally self-fund in this country anymore because of the HIPAA laws. Because you have a healthy group, you hire 5 people and they all have cancer or AIDS. Now you have an unhealthy group, and the reinsurance companies at renewal start doing things called lasers, where they're saying you're responsible for all these claims up to a certain dollar amount. But if you look at their financials, the trusts, keep in mind money they're getting from PBMs for manufacturers' rebates. Look at if building costs for their building are included. Look for a lot of things in those balance sheets that they have to show that may make people's mouth go down to the floor before you can get it back up.
You mean because there's just a lot of... Okay, so one thing is that when you say they got together, like, what do you mean they got together? I mean, certainly...
So they got all the school districts. I believe they created... I'm not sure if they're nonprofit.
Okay.
But what they did is they created...
This organization.
These consortiums, they call them in other states, where they put everyone together and create a self-funded health plan.
But they're obviously this thing has to be administered, you need buildings and all that. So what you're alluding to is that all of a sudden the expenses go way up.
Investments, check out where they invest money. These are all public records. There's a lot of things. So what happened is as time goes by, you get some of the schools that opt out of it because the rates have gotten out of control.
And partly the rates are more expensive than the regular going down the street is because of all these administrative expenses?
Because of
I
all
don't
the
get that.
administrative and all the adverse risks that they've added to the trust over the years to cover claims. Because they have to pay up to $250,000 or $100,000 per person if they hit it. So that's what's happening, is they're paying for all these claims. It's crazy.
Well, that's what they're for, is to pay the claims. I don't get that.
Well, they've added such adverse risk to the pool. They've jacked the rates up, and they got to keep their salaries and keep their buildings and keep all the things going. So those are included in operating costs. So the insurance costs, the reinsurance costs keep going up. The rental of the network's not bad. The TPA fees go up. That's their fees also. The PBM contracts they have, you get manufacturers' rebates. There's millions of dollars that get passed. I don't believe the school districts get that.
So, but when these things were created, whatever it was, 20, 30, 40 years ago, when health insurance was actually more complicated in some ways, right?
No one understands what they have now.
Right, but back then they provided services. Wasn't that the idea that they helped?
Well, yeah, they have services for retirees, the billing. They make it easy for the school districts in their administrative side. But the cost of it, if you do the math, the school districts and towns should be buying it directly from the same insurance carrier for half the cost.
Right, so that's, I mean, we're sitting here saying, well, geez, that seems pretty obvious.
Well,
right?
It is that obvious.
It is that obvious.
But there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar.
Well, when you say hands in a cookie jar, I mean, one thing is that, big municipalities, bureaucracies, it's hard to change anyway. And also in the school district side, what about the town of Conway? What do they do? The town side, do you know?
Police listen to me, but they use the trust to do what I told them to do, and not the police themselves, the town.
Right.
You have an administrator who didn't want to put forth the effort.
Okay, so, but I guess what I'm asking without getting on that level is the town side on the same, using the same New Hampshire trust?
I believe they have a different trust, but it's the same scenario. They're overpaying probably by $1 million.
Okay, so if you're paying, and I know you've floated these ideas to various school board members over time. Partly you got other issues like the unions, right? I mean, they're...
Here's your solution for the problem. You offer a voluntary plan. If they can find coverage elsewhere, spouses, military, individual, Medicare, wherever they can get it, the school district pays up to a certain dollar amount and covers all their out-of-pocket 100%. They have to stay in the network, so if they don't like that, they can stay on the trust plan. If people did that, you're talking $4 to $5 million slashed from the budget.
Okay, and that's that's $4 to $5 million. Say that again, because why?
$4 to $5 million, they're overpaying.
No, and that's because the
For
trust
example,
is so
a 30-year-old person can go on, get a Anthem or Harvard plan direct for $200-300 a month.
Through a bank subsidy. I mean, so if
Or
you're
direct or through the exchange, no subsidies.
okay, but I thought you said they were like $400 or $500 for an individual plan.
Not if they buy it the way I do it.
What do you,
With the
you buy it
bronze
out of
plan.
Okay,
You
so
buy the lowest bronze plan, and then you agree to pick up their out-of-pocket 100%. So in essence, they have a 100% health plan, no cost.
right, so we have a lot of young teachers. Let's say they're all 20. They're not 25, but a bunch of them are 25 years old, right? So they're young. They're single mostly. So their premium could be $300 or $400.
$200 to $300.
Okay, by whether it's you, Obamacare, just a regular plan on the bronze plan.
Let them buy it.
And then they get but they're going to have like a $9,000 deductible.
Pick it up if they use it.
So the school picks it up.
And they also pay for their premium tax-free because of the 1954 tax law, Section 105.
Okay, so you're saying, and one might say, wait a minute, all of a sudden now the school has to be the $300 or $400 a month, add that up times 12, then you're paying $9,000. But that's what you're saying is that, and this is what Tom had to convince, I have to say, Tom had to convince us, even with our small group, is that a surprisingly few number of people actually use that $9,000.
or they're on medications that cover their deductible, or they're qualified for grants. Here's a great website, needy, N-E-E-D-Y, meds, M-E-D-S.org. There's grants for every disease. There's programs for free drugs, generic and brand.
You mean an individual can go to there?
Absolutely.
And what's that again?
Needy, N-E-E-D-Y, MEDS.org. Anybody with any kind of diseases, anybody who's on any drugs should go there and see if they can qualify. It's user-friendly. It's a great website. I've been using it for over a decade now.
And you can go in and find a drug and say you could get a
you qualify
rebate
for these programs. If you have MS, they go, you qualify for potentially these grants that will pay for your insurance premium, all your out-of-pocket, and travel.
And these grants are from where?
From, you see all these golf outings for MS, golf outings. Those people have a nonprofit and they donate money to people. A lot of athletes have them. And
Okay,
you
so let's
literally
say-
qualify, and it's sometimes it's income-based, sometimes it's first come, first serve.
So if you have Parkinson's, you go in there, you type in Parkinson's, and here are some grants
And
available.
it'll show you grants both local and national, and the phone numbers, the websites, everything.
And like for let's say you put in, I have, prostate cancer. I'm saying that because
Absolutely,
I'm a
same
guy.
deal. All kinds of programs.
Okay, so
For example, a kid with autism can get a free guide dog. There's programs for autism for that. There's all kinds of programs. The problem is like for the school district, they should have somebody who's an advocate for them, who's showing them this, working on what they save, not working on how much you pay.
Okay, so if the school got involved with this kind of stuff, but the school administrators listening to this saying, oh my God, now we got to deal with 300 employees trying to figure out everybody's plan.
You hire, as I said, an advocate who understands the program and literally does all the work for them. Think about it. If you save $3 or $4 million, you could hire somebody, put them in the school system, have them get $250,000 a year, be the highest paid school person, and that's their job. And then you only save $2.5 to $3.5 million.
Are you looking for a job?
No, I'm fine where I'm at.
Okay. All right, so we only got a couple minutes left. I think you're saying that it's to sum the school part up. They're shopping for it now, so that's a good start, right?
I mean, it's, again, their solution takes 5 minutes, takes 2 minutes to explain, and 1.5 minutes I'm drinking a coffee. As of January 1st, put it up, they put in a second option. If you can find coverage elsewhere, if you're on our current health plan, it can be a spouse, military, individual, must be ACA compliant, Affordable Care Act compliant. We will do this. We'll pay up to a certain dollar amount and cover all your out-of-pocket, but you have to stay in the network. So if you don't like that, stay on their current plan. No problem. Make it voluntary. They'll have flocks of people doing it, because who wouldn't do that? You know, if you go to a local doctor, go to Memorial, Maine Med, they're on all the plans, Dartmouth. But, you know, if you want specific things, stay right where you are.
Because you have, right now, and I forget what it is, but I think the individuals at the school they have a copay, right?
They have an out-of-pocket.
$1,500 out-of-pocket or something like that.
They will have no out-of-pocket, and then they're also paying for the cost of it. They don't have any payment anymore. Because if you get a plan that costs $300-400 and you're paying $1,100-1,200, let's just do the math. Say it's $1,200 and you get one for $300. That's $900 a month. That's $10,800 of savings. The risk is, let's say, $9,200.
That's a deductible.
Yep.
Right.
You're guaranteed to save $1,600 if they use it.
All of it. If they used all the deductible, you're
All.
saying, but obviously people don't use $9,200 worth of
But
stuff.
so you save more.
Right.
But worst case, you save $1,600. So the question becomes, why are you giving the insurance company more money than the risk?
Okay. So I think the lesson in all this, and we've experienced it here.
Right, and the insurance agents out there, I'd save them 50% on their own health insurance. And I'm being dead serious.
Okay, so we only have a minute left, and I know, what is your we've talked about this in past years, what's your grand plan? What's the Tom terrific plan for health insurance in this country. Do you remember what you've said?
Yeah, here's what you do. This takes a minute.
Okay, that's all we have.
All right, you put $50,000 on every American. Underneath, they can self-fund, they can do whatever. You take
Wait
away
a minute. Okay, when you say you put 50, you mean you
50,000. The government agrees that anybody goes above 50,000, they buy reinsurance and they cover the risk.
Okay, 50,000.
Yep.
Anything
Underneath it,
right.
that you can still buy the insurance or you can self-fund it, but you can't claim bankruptcy anymore. So you can buy these insurance products, and what that will do is that'll bring Aflac, Colonial, all these supplemental carriers into the game, and now you have a free market, and the premium rates of the savings that will drive the 2,000, 3,000 family rates down to 500, 600, that will allow the government to pay for the reinsurance with all the taxable income that comes. There's your solution. It's that
Okay,
simple.
so I'm going to recap this for being a lay person that I am. You're saying if you cap it at 50,000 for any insurance company, the premium is going to be lower because obviously they only have to insure up to 50,000.
That's correct.
So that's that.
But what you don't know is there are already a lot of them buying reinsurance behind the scenes, and they just are allowed to fleece you.
Okay. Okay, and then the government would pay anything over 50,000 for those claims, but then you're saying the government would get more tax revenue because there's so much less money is going into paying for premiums, so you pay more taxes.
That's right. The employees pay less, and now they have more taxable income. The employer
has fewer deductions.
Fewer deductions, so it's
they're
more
paying.
taxable unless they do something that's good for the employees. Imagine that.
Right. All right. Well, maybe you should run. We got another year to run for office. Maybe that should be a platform, Tom.
I couldn't take either side because I'm in the middle.
All right. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. That was very informative. I hope people who listen to this, because it can get very confusing, but I think you laid it out pretty well, and I appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Tom, good to see you.
Thanks. There you go.